1923 Season 2, Episode 5 Review. Spencer is finally close to home and I absolutely can't wait for the Duttons war to start. We can finally detect a bright spot in 1923 when it comes to Spencer and Alexandra's return trips. The main focus of last week's episode 4 of the second season of the Yellowstone spinoff was the Duttons and how they were finally given some much-needed good news. The show gave them a break, and I enjoyed how Elizabeth not only chose to stay rather than go, but also found out she was pregnant again when Zane's operation went well and he was able to walk again. All of the joy at the Dutton Ranch, however, stood in stark contrast to the tales of Spencer and Alexandra, who encountered many perils on their separate trips to Montana. Alexandra nearly lost her train, got attacked, and was robbed. Spencer, on the other hand, had to flee the police in order to board his own train. He then got off the train after killing the 3 robbers who attempted to rob him, and worse. Fortunately, Episode 5 turns both of their storylines around, but not before I was taken aback by what Alexandra had to endure. Alexandra finally goes through what I had feared would happen in Season 2. I had a hunch that something horrible was going to happen to Alexandra from the beginning of the season. Although she possessed a tough exterior, as we saw in Season 1, she would not have survived as long as she did without Spencer. She had, after all, had a luxurious life with few challenges until she met him. But Alex is alone himself in 1923 Season 2, which has resulted in a few shady incidents that lead to what I feared. I was worried that she would have to pawn herself to the police when she first got to America in order for them to let her enter. Fortunately, Alexandra took complete charge of the situation, so that did not occur. After that, a robber followed her into the train station restroom. That made me worry that she might be unable to avoid the terrible destiny I had in mind for her. Nevertheless, despite being robbed and assaulted, Alexandra was able to go on. She does not have the same luck in Episode 5. After going days without eating, Alexandra demonstrated her tenacity by agreeing to work in return for meals on the train. But doing so put her in danger of being sexually assaulted by a male. To say I was furious would be an understatement. Unfortunately, my fears came true. But when her train was cancelled, I was glad that the British couple she had become friends with on the train not only supported her but also offered to give her a ride. Alex is now safe. 1923, white males had been eradicating Native Americans, including Tiana, from the Mountain West for decades, with disastrous results for those who were not displaced alone. White males harassed the area with their unbridled greed. Extractive companies like mining and logging have established themselves, and once public regions have been fenced. Given that Kent and Renault are pursuing Tiana, leaving Amarillo for the north is more than just a mistake. There is nowhere to rest in this desolate and hostile area of the country. Pete quickly splinters away from the group in search of shade and water after Kent runs into him. An exciting but pointless horse chase concludes the altercation. When there is nowhere to hide, it doesn't really matter how swift Pete is in the saddle. When his horse passes out from tiredness, Pete and Kent quickly draw. At the end of the episode, shots are fired. As the show draws to a conclusion, shots are fired. But we won't know who was hit until the following week. It hardly matters at all. Although Pete's passing would be devastating, Kent's passing would most likely foreshadow Pete's passing a short while later. America is everywhere. Alex Dutton is also looking for a family that will adopt her and her newborn child on a very different frontier, the Transcontinental Railroad. When a young mother tells Alex that she lacks the fortitude to endure the humiliation of being an immigrant, she does not find it in her sleeping car. Indeed, Alex is white, attractive, and articulate. Pulchritude has its own armor, much like grit. For instance, the porter permits Alex to work off her meals as a server when she is unable to pay for dinner on the train. A spotless uniform and a reason to be anywhere other than her tiny hut with its haze of dashed hopes are given to her. The role reversal may even help Alex develop as a character because it puts her on the opposite side of the lengthy dinners that she is more used to receiving.